I speak these words with divine authority, knowing that every word is a seed, and I now plant the seed of abundance, wealth, and divine increase in the fertile soil of spirit. There is an exact spiritual formula, a divine blueprint that unlocks the door to what the world calls luck, but what I know is divine right timing and law of expectancy. I now align myself with that formula. I do not chase wealth. I become a magnet to it. I know there is no competition on the spiritual plane. What is mine cannot be taken from me, and what is meant for me comes swiftly and surely, under grace, in perfect ways. The lottery win I seek is not chance. It is already mine in the invisible, waiting to appear. I claim it with full faith. I say boldly, I am in alignment with the winning vibration. I am the perfect channel for financial miracles. I am the exact match to the winning frequency. I receive large, unexpected sums of money from divine source. This is not just about numbers on a ticket. This is a spiritual demonstration of faith. I do not doubt. I do not waver. I speak the end from the beginning. I declare the win before I see it. For it is by faith, not sight, that mountains move. I let go of fear, doubt, and false beliefs. I now replace them with certainty. I walk in knowing. I walk in divine trust. My words create. My faith manifests. The law of expectancy is working in my favor. I expect miracles. I expect divine surprises. I expect sudden wealth because I have declared it, believed it, and now I am ready to receive it. I see myself celebrating. I see the numbers match. I see my bank account overflow. And because I see it within, I will surely see it without. I now call forth the exact combination of events, numbers, people, and energy that bring the jackpot to me. I don't need to know how. It is not my work to figure it out. It is Spirit's job to deliver. My only work is belief, alignment, and speech. Faith without works is dead, and the work of the spiritual person is to speak life, speak wealth, and speak victory. I keep my words in alignment with divine law. I never say, I hope. I say, it is done. I never say maybe. I say, I receive now. I never ask from lack. I declare from abundance. And so I say, I am the winner. I am the vibration of wealth. I am a vessel of divine financial flow. I am chosen for this miracle. I am in perfect harmony with the winning result. This is the exact formula. Clarity of desire, purity of thought, faith in spirit, spoken word in power, and unwavering expectation. And I now activate it. Nothing can stop the flow that is already mine. The lottery win is just a symbol, a sign of divine supply made visible. I receive it joyfully, and I share it generously, for I know that circulation is part of the formula. I do not hoard, I flow, and in that flow, more comes to me. Under grace, in perfect ways, by divine right timing, I now receive what is already mine. It is done. It is done. It is done. Amen, and so it is. The power of the spoken word is the cornerstone of every spiritual demonstration. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that our words are not mere vibrations passing through air. They are divine decrees, loaded with life force, commanding the invisible realm into form. When one speaks with intention, aligned with faith, the universe listens and responds. It is not superstition. It is spiritual law. The same way gravity cannot be turned off, the law of the spoken word cannot be voided. It is always working, for us or against us. That's why we must choose our words with absolute precision, especially when manifesting something as specific and powerful as a lottery win. When a person says, I never win, they seal that result. When someone speaks words of doubt, fear, or sarcasm, they are unknowingly declaring their lack. The universe is impersonal. It doesn't judge what you say, it simply reflects it back. That is why the spoken word must be infused with faith, certainty, and joy. You do not speak about what is happening, you speak into what you want to happen. That is spiritual mastery. You become the author of your own result. In this formula, you no longer plead, hope, or wait. You declare, and in that declaration, the unseen begins to mold itself into the seen. Let there be light was not a request. It was a command, and your words must carry that same certainty. When you say, I am the lottery winner, you are not lying to yourself. You are proclaiming what is already true in the invisible realm. That win already exists on the spiritual plane. It is done. Your work is to speak until your vibration matches the reality already created for you. Each time you say, "I am the winning frequency," you bring yourself into harmony with the manifestation. Each time you affirm, "Divine substance flows to me in avalanches of abundance," you shift your inner state to one of reception. The spoken word is the bridge between imagination and realization. It draws out from the formless into form. But the word must be spoken from a place of authority, not desperation. You cannot beg the universe to make you a winner. You must affirm that you already are and hold fast to that claim. Your voice carries spiritual electricity. The moment you speak with belief, you charge the atmosphere around you with the creative energy of faith. Faith and fear cannot coexist in the same statement. So when you speak your lottery win aloud, let it be from the vibration of already having it. Not from the desire for it, but from the knowing of it. That is how the spiritual formula begins. Not in emotion, not in action, but in the vibration and direction of the word. Speak often, but do not babble. Speak clearly. Speak specifically. Let your words be arrows aimed at a clear target. I am so grateful I now hold the winning lottery ticket. Divine intelligence has perfectly orchestrated it. I am aligned with wealth. I receive it now. This is not wishful thinking, it is spiritual alignment. You are now speaking from your highest self, the one who already has what you're asking for. And yet, words alone are not enough if they are not backed by feeling. You must feel the truth of what you speak. Feel it as if it were already real. That is when the words begin to move mountains. That is when the spiritual gears begin to turn. The universe is not reacting to your voice. It is responding to your vibration behind the voice. If you speak from doubt, it will echo doubt. If you speak from power, it will echo power. Your speech becomes sacred when you use it to create, not complain. When you declare that money is chasing you down, that the right numbers are divinely selected for you, that your hands are guided by infinite wisdom, those words begin to reshape the matrix around you. The spiritual formula becomes activated through consistency. It's not about shouting louder or repeating endlessly. It's about speaking with conviction, again and again, until your subconscious accepts it as truth. In Florence Scovel Shinn's world, every word was a wand, every phrase a spiritual seed. And just like a farmer must plant and trust the process before the harvest comes, so must you speak and know that manifestation is on its way. There is no need to ask Spirit over and over again. Speak once, believe always, and keep your vibration clean. This is where faith begins to take over. After all, once you have spoken your desire into law, your next responsibility is to trust it is already done. You're not looking for confirmation outside. You are standing in the knowing within. And so the spiritual formula moves forward. After the word is spoken, it must be housed in faith. Faith is the backbone of all spiritual manifestation. Without it, the words lose their power. With it, the words become magnetic fields, drawing in everything necessary to fulfill what was spoken. The word spoken in faith becomes a command in the language of the universe, and that command never returns void. It accomplishes what it was sent out to do. The moment you speak your truth with unwavering faith, the divine blueprint is activated, and your win is already unfolding behind the scenes. Faith is the invisible backbone of manifestation. It is the current that carries the spoken word from the unseen to the seen. Without faith, the word has no ground to take root. It floats unanchored, easily blown away by doubt, delay, or fear. But when the word is backed by faith, even the most impossible thing becomes inevitable. That is the difference between idle wishing and divine creation. The spiritual formula demands more than saying the right affirmations. It demands believing them even when the outer world gives no sign. That is where true power lies. The lottery win is not a prize that comes to the one who needs it the most. It comes to the one who knows it the most. Need does not manifest, knowing does. You must believe before there is any proof. That is the spiritual law. You must see it within before you ever see it in your hands. Faith makes it real now, not later. Faith doesn't say, maybe someday I'll win. Faith says, it is already done. I have it now. And this is not delusion, it is divine alignment. So when you speak the winning words, I am the chosen one. The lottery is mine by divine right. You must let those words be planted in the soil of absolute belief. You must water them daily with inner knowing. And most of all, you must not dig them up with doubt. If you speak faith in the morning and speak fear in the evening, you cancel your own creation. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that the spiritual person must be as unwavering as a soldier on a battlefield. Steady, focused, and unshaken by appearances. You do not walk by what the world shows you. You walk by what the Spirit knows. Your circumstances may say you have no money. Your bank account may show a negative balance. But your faith is not in numbers. Your faith is in the divine substance that undergirds all numbers. Your faith is in the unseen realm where everything already exists. You must feel wealth in the bones before you ever feel it in your wallet. You must become rich in consciousness before the world reflects it. Faith does not come from effort. It is not something you force. It is something you choose. You choose to believe, even when it looks like nothing is happening. You choose to believe, especially when things seem to be going in the opposite direction. Because in the world of spirit, delay is not denial. In fact, it often means the win is being perfectly prepared for your greatest benefit. You do not rush spirit. You align with it. The moment you choose faith, a new energy starts to build. It's subtle at first, but soon you begin to feel it. There is a calmness, a certainty, a shift in how you carry yourself. You are no longer hoping. You are knowing. You are no longer chasing. You are attracting. And that shift is what separates the manifester from the wanderer. Faith turns your lottery ticket from paper into prophecy. Let no one shake your faith. Not the news, not statistics, not logic. Those belong to the world of reason, and reason is not the ruler of miracles. Miracles flow through belief, not evidence. The spiritual formula bypasses logic because it draws from higher law. What looks improbable to man is natural to spirit. When you say, "I believe in the impossible," you are not being naive. You are stepping into your divine right to live beyond limitation. Florence said, "Intuition is a spiritual faculty and does not explain, but simply points the way." Faith follows that pointing. It doesn't need the full map. It doesn't ask for guarantees. It moves with confidence, knowing that each step is being divinely guided. And this is where the power grows, because as you walk in faith, the outer world starts to shift. Synchronicities appear. Intuition heightens. The right numbers may appear in dreams, in sudden flashes, or even through quiet nudges. You'll find yourself drawn to buy a ticket on a certain day, at a certain place, without needing to know why. That is Spirit's doing. Faith lets you follow it without questioning. When others ask, "How do you know you're going to win?" You won't have to explain. You'll just say, "Because I already have." And that energy, the energy of already, will do what no strategy ever could. It will align heaven and earth in your favor. Doors will open. Energy will organize itself. And when the time is ripe, what you have believed will be what you hold. Faith does not mean you never have moments of uncertainty. It means that you return again and again to the truth, that what you've asked for is already yours. That the win has already happened in the spiritual realm and the physical world is simply catching up. You do not pray and then wonder. You speak and then expect. You believe and then prepare. You know, and then you receive. This is the heart of the formula. The spoken word calls it forth. Faith holds it in place. And as you walk in faith, your vibration begins to rise. Because faith is not just a belief, it is a frequency. It emits a signal into the universe that says, "I am ready. I am open. I am aligned." And the universe, by law, must respond. That response will carry you effortlessly toward the next step in the formula, where timing is no longer your worry, because divine timing is always on time. Once faith has been established, once you've spoken the word and sealed it with unwavering belief, the next piece of the divine formula unfolds in silence, the sacred trust in divine timing. In the world's clock, people are always watching, waiting, rushing. But in the realm of spirit, timing is not measured by minutes or hours. It is orchestrated by perfect harmony. Spirit does not delay, nor does it rush. It moves in flawless rhythm, and what is meant for you can never be late. When you walk by faith, you stop looking at your calendar for evidence. You stop checking the clock to see if your manifestation is on time. Because now you are no longer governed by the ticking of worldly hours. You are aligned with the unfolding of divine order. This order knows exactly when to bring your lottery win into the visible realm. Not a day too early, not a moment too late, but in the instant when your vibration, your consciousness, and your outer conditions meet in perfect alignment. Trusting divine timing is one of the highest spiritual disciplines. It means letting go of the illusion that you are in control of how and when things happen. It means you stop trying to force the manifestation and begin allowing it. You stop checking your ticket with tension and start carrying the energy of certainty even before the numbers appear. You know it's coming, so there's no need to rush. There's no need to question the process. Spirit is never confused. It knows exactly where your miracle is and when it is meant to arrive. This deep trust creates a field of relaxation around you. You begin to walk lighter. You stop begging, you stop wishing, you start knowing. And in that knowing, you become a magnet to the right timing. The divine mind orchestrates people, places, events, and even numbers to align with your vibration of readiness. It is not just about you saying, "I am ready." It is about you becoming it in feeling, word, and frequency. When you no longer doubt the timing, your energy becomes clear. You emit a signal that says, "I have already received. I am simply waiting for the physical to catch up with my spiritual truth." The moment you say that and truly believe it, anxiety disappears. And what's more powerful than anxiety disappearing is that you begin to detach. And detachment is magnetic. The moment you no longer grip, no longer grasp, no longer stress over when, it comes faster. Because now you are aligned with the current of spirit, not fighting against it. Florence Scovel Shinn reminded us that man's will is powerless against the will of God. When you demand things on your timeline, you create resistance. You push against what is flowing toward you. But when you surrender the timing and trust the divine plan, you open the way. This is not passive waiting, it is active trust. You go about your day knowing the win is unfolding behind the scenes. You live in joy, not tension. You act in alignment with what you expect to receive. That is power. You can feel when divine timing is preparing to reveal itself. The air begins to shift. You may not see anything change outside yet, but your spirit knows. There is a soft nudge inside, a sense that things are moving, a flicker of inner celebration before anything has happened. That is the whisper of spirit saying, "Get ready. I'm almost there." And your only job is to hold the vibration steady. Do not question, do not press. Just keep speaking the word, holding the faith, and walking in divine patience. Sometimes the delay you perceive is protection. Spirit sees things you cannot. It knows the exact moment when your win will serve your highest good. Had it come sooner, perhaps you weren't emotionally ready, mentally strong, spiritually steady. Spirit waits until every thread is woven into place so that your blessing won't be wasted, feared, or lost. And when you realize this, you stop resenting the wait. You start honoring it. Every day you don't win is not proof that it's not working. It is evidence that the miracle is growing under the surface, in the invisible. And when it's time, it will erupt like a flower blooming through the soil, all at once, effortlessly. And you will say, "Of course it happened this way," because deep down, you always knew it was coming. Your job was never to make it happen. Your job was to stay aligned long enough for spirit to deliver it. Divine timing is not random. It is calculated with divine precision. It is the sacred pause between your asking and your receiving. It is the moment where your soul is strengthened, your belief is deepened, and your spiritual maturity is forged. Every second of the waiting season is filled with unseen construction. The win is not waiting on chance, it's waiting on your full embodiment of the result. So as you walk forward, let this be your inner stance. I do not chase the win. The win is already mine. It is moving toward me now. I am in the exact vibration for its perfect arrival. You are not waiting for a miracle, you are allowing it. Because in divine timing, the promise is already fulfilled. Your only job now is to hold steady, as spirit aligns the final details. And in the stillness of that trust, you begin to vibrate with the very thing you once longed for. That is where the next part of the formula begins to unfold. Because timing is not separate from energy, and energy must be tuned to match the vision. As the divine timing aligns itself with your inner readiness, something profound begins to unfold within you. A shift not just in thought, but in energy. Because timing alone is never enough. Spirit does not simply drop miracles into a misaligned vessel. You must become the embodiment of that which you desire. You must vibrate on the same frequency as the reality you've already spoken and believed in. The lottery win is not only attracted through words and faith, it is magnetized by your vibration. The vibration is the music your soul plays, and the universe dances to it. The melody must match the manifestation. You cannot hold a vibration of scarcity and expect abundance to pour in. You cannot be entangled in fear, worry, and lack and still magnetize a miracle of wealth. These two energies are incompatible. The spiritual formula is exact, and this part of it is often overlooked. Yet it is essential. You must become emotionally and energetically what you are declaring in words. Every cell of your being must feel like a match to the win you are calling in. You must speak it, believe it, wait with trust, and now you must become it. This means you wake up already feeling like a lottery winner. Not because the money has arrived, but because you are tuning into that state now. You carry yourself differently. You move through the world as someone who knows abundance is your natural state. You no longer feel separate from the wealth. It becomes an extension of your vibration. You are no longer desiring from lack. You are claiming from alignment. Florence Scovel Shinn often said that you must act as if you've already received the thing you desire. This is not about pretending in a shallow sense. It's about energetically stepping into the version of you who already has it. When you speak the winning words and believe in divine timing, but continue to vibrate in frustration, you break the circuit. The formula requires coherence. Your thoughts, emotions, actions, and energy must all sing the same song. So ask yourself, what does it feel like to be a millionaire? Not in fantasy, but in emotional truth. What does safety feel like in your body? What does generosity feel like in your heart? What does freedom feel like in your nervous system? That feeling, that is the vibration. And that vibration is the signal the universe responds to. It is like tuning your inner radio to the exact frequency where your win already exists. The moment you match it, manifestation becomes inevitable. This is not about constant positivity or forcing joy. It's about alignment. It's about honest resonance with the energy of already having. You stop praying from desperation and begin thanking from fulfillment. You move from "please let me win" to "thank you that it's already mine." This energy shift is quiet but powerful. It changes everything. The more consistently you hold this vibration, the more synchronicity appears. You notice things differently. You may be drawn to a certain number, a certain place, a specific ticket. You may feel a gentle pull toward a small action, and because you're tuned in, you follow it without overthinking. That is how the wind finds you. You don't need to chase. It's your vibration that brings it in. Holding the vibration means becoming sensitive to when you're off. You'll notice when fear creeps in, when you start worrying about bills or timelines. But instead of spiraling, you realign. You breathe. You speak again. You return to the vibration. It's not about being perfect. It's about staying aware. You are no longer reacting to outer circumstances. You are creating from within. And each time you shift your state back to abundance, you reinforce your magnetic field. People may not understand what you're doing. They may say you're delusional for walking like a winner before you've won. But you won't need to explain. Because what you're doing is living in harmony with spiritual law. You're not waiting for the win to feel worthy. You feel worthy now, and that worthiness summons the win. This is also where your imagination becomes sacred. The mental images you hold feed the vibration. You see yourself with the money. You see yourself blessing others. You see the joy, the freedom, the overflow. And as you feel it, you begin to generate it from within. Emotion is the charge, and imagination is the picture. Combined, they activate the vibration that draws the physical outcome to you. You do not become obsessed with watching for results. Instead, you become devoted to maintaining your inner alignment. That's your real work. The rest is handled by divine intelligence. You vibrate, spirit arranges. You stay in harmony, and the physical manifestation will show up when it must. That's why the formula does not demand striving, it demands tuning. And tuning your vibration is not a one-time act. It's a daily practice. You align each morning. You correct course when necessary. You speak the word, feel the outcome, embody the energy. And that is when things begin to move swiftly. Not because you tried harder, but because you finally match the win with your being. The vibration is not loud. It is subtle, steady, and undeniable. It says, I'm already what I desire. It carries peace. It carries joy. It carries quiet certainty. And from that place, the path continues. Because vibration is not the final step, it is the gateway to expectation. And expectation, when pure, becomes the gravitational force that makes the invisible seen. As the vibration becomes stable, as your inner world begins to hum with the frequency of already having, you naturally begin to live in a state of divine expectancy. This is the next sacred movement in the spiritual formula: expectation. It is not hope. It is not idle wishing. It is not crossing your fingers and wondering. Expectation is magnetic certainty. It is the invisible knowing that what you have spoken, believed, waited for, and vibrated with is now on its way to you. It is the final inner declaration before the manifestation becomes visible, and it is potent beyond measure. Expectation is the signal that tells the universe you are truly ready. Not just in words, not just in energy, but in embodiment. You are now expecting the result as naturally as you expect the sun to rise. You have surrendered the how, the when, and the through whom. Your only focus is holding the gate open so the wind can enter. You are not watching with anxious eyes. You are opening your arms with calm joy, knowing it's already here in form unseen. To expect is to prepare. You don't expect something and then live as if it isn't coming. That's not true expectancy. That's hesitation wrapped in spiritual disguise. Expectation shows itself in the little things. The way you think, the way you speak, the way you carry yourself. You begin to act like the win is part of your normal. You no longer ask, will it happen? You begin to say, it's happening. Even when there's no visible proof, you walk in the vibration of fulfillment. This expectation is not ego-driven. It's not about demanding the universe deliver something because you've said the right affirmations. It is sacred confidence rooted in divine law. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that when the spiritual formula is followed with clean energy, divine right results must appear. Not might, must. That is what expectation leans on. A sense of knowing that the universal law cannot break its own pattern. When you expect the lottery win, not as a fantasy but as a divine demonstration, you begin to attract situations, people and moments that align with it. You begin to notice numbers more frequently. You feel pulled to certain decisions without logical explanation. You hear inner whispers guiding you. These aren't coincidences. They are echoes of your expectancy pulling form out of the formless. The invisible begins to reveal itself when you live as though it is already real. This is where many falter. They say they believe. They try to hold the vibration, but they don't truly expect. They speak the right words, but they are still mentally bracing for disappointment. That inner resistance sends mixed signals, and the universe does not know whether to deliver or delay. Expectation clears the channel. It tells Spirit, I am open. I am prepared. I am ready to receive this fully. And Spirit, in perfect response, begins to move faster, closer, stronger. Expecting does not mean obsessing. It means living with ease. There is a difference. Obsession is rooted in fear. Fear that it might not come. Expectation is rooted in peace, knowing that it will. So you do not need to constantly look for signs. You do not need to worry whether today is the day. You know the delivery is already dispatched. It will arrive. Your work is to stay receptive. You don't expect rain and then leave the house without an umbrella. In the same way, you don't expect a financial miracle and then speak words of doubt. You begin to think like a winner, make decisions like a receiver, prepare like a vessel that's about to overflow. You don't plan from poverty anymore. You plan from abundance, even if your outer situation hasn't changed yet. Your expectation reshapes the inner landscape until the outer must follow. And if any resistance tries to rise, fear, doubt, or impatience, you bring it back to expectancy. You remind yourself of what is true in the invisible realm. You affirm, I am now aligned with divine riches. My win is done. I expect it. I prepare for it. I celebrate it in advance. This pre-celebration is not fantasy. It's prophetic. It sends a frequency into the universe that cannot be ignored. It says, look at this one. They already know it's theirs. And what you know must show. Expectation also influences the quality of your imagination. You begin to see yourself handling the win with grace. You visualize how it improves not only your life, but the lives of others. You dream in detail, not just about numbers on a ticket, but about what you will do with the wealth that flows to you. And each of those images fuels the vibration even more. The most powerful part of expectation is that it softens you. It removes the edge of desperation and replaces it with divine certainty. You become calm. You smile more. You no longer need to explain or prove anything. Your inner peace becomes a signpost to the universe. This one already believes. And Spirit, which is always seeking to deliver to those who are open, finds a clear path to you. You do not need to force anything. You simply stand in expectancy, speak with alignment, and stay present. Because in the language of Spirit, expectancy is not a passive stance. It is an energetic invitation. It says, I trust, I know, and I now allow. And as you remain in that state, the invisible moves toward the visible, and the manifestation begins to bloom. What's next in the formula unfolds naturally, because once you expect, you start seeing. And what you see in the inner world becomes undeniable in the outer one. And so, you stand at the threshold of your demonstration, not with trembling hands, but with a quiet, unwavering power in your spirit. You are no longer the seeker. You are the vessel. You are no longer asking the universe to favor you. You are walking as one chosen by divine law to reveal its glory. Every step you've taken, every word spoken in faith, every thought reprogrammed, every moment surrendered, has woven itself into the fabric of your manifestation. You understand now that the lottery was never just about money. It was the symbol Spirit used to awaken you, to refine your faith, to pull you into alignment with the absolute truth of who you are, a divine creator with access to infinite supply. You didn't just learn how to win a number, you remembered how to win in life. You returned to the throne of your own power, governed by spiritual law, held by divine love, and moved by intuition more precise than any calculation. So now you bless it all, the journey, the inner war, the releasing, the rebuilding, because it led you here, to this still point where heaven touches earth, where knowing becomes receiving, where you are no longer hoping, you are living the outcome. It's not luck, it's not chance, it's divine order. It's the law, and the law never fails. Your win is sealed. Your name is already written on the outcome. You walk forward now, not in search, but in celebration. For the door is open, the path is clear, and the gift is yours. And you receive it with grace, with gratitude, and with full awareness that your win was never outside of you, it was within you all along. And so it is.